This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.
Another Star Wars podcast presents We Have Spoken, aka Transforming into Bob, or the Book of Boba Fett. Welcome to Bob. We're back. Sean, Mike, and Damien going to bring every episode to you, all 7 of them, to your eardrums, to your eyesight. New this season, we're going to bring this podcast to video. Check out YouTube at Another Star Wars channel. You can find all the links at bio.link/extra techie. Make sure you follow Extra Techie on all the socials. Check out the bio.link for all of the relevant links. And of course, make sure you follow Mike and Damien on the socials if you choose. Check out Casa de Dupree, an up-and-coming channel about all sorts of things nerdy. Damien does a good job, but enough about that. We're here to tackle the Book of Boba Fett, a Disney Plus series veering off from the Mandoverse and hopefully coming back to it as we patiently await Mandalorian Season 3. Listen up as we tackle each episode, talk hot takes, and of course, give you our one-sentence summary. Sit back, relax, grab a drink, and let's do this thing. We have a bounty hunter to catch up with, and from what I hear, he's pretty legendary. This is a prequel show, as you can tell. The boys are back. We've got Miguel and Damien back at it. We're on film. We're on video. We're using our webcam power. We're using Zencaster to do this, and I apologize for the quality in advance. But we're going to call this the Prequel Bob session, because this is the Book of Boba Fett, seemingly new series to the Disney Plus library of shows that will never come out on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, ever. I don't think it's ever going to happen, boys. It's just never going to happen. You will have to subscribe to Disney Plus for the rest of your life. In fact, at your funeral, we will have a cancellation policy for all of your subscriptions. So please make sure you give me your Gmail password before you die. That way we can handle all of that nonsense. And yes, I have thought about that. I have special envelopes in the safe for certain people. We call it the shovel buddy. And that's just the way it is. Yes, just in case things go down. So welcome to the Book of Boba Fett. First off, do you like the name, Mike and Damien? Start with Mike the Elder. Go. I think you're older, right? I don't know.
I actually do like the name Book of Boba Fett. I think it leaves a little bit of a mystery to it, because we don't know what has happened to him. We don't know how he came back in The Mandalorian. I think it just leaves it. This is literally an open book.
Okay. I like it, Dames.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's maybe kind of hinting at that there's some like lore and like mystique and stories that were told about him. And, now he's kind of rewriting that book of what people think about him and how people think about him and how people are going to interpret him now that he's basically a ruler.
Indeed. When I hear book, I hear chapters. I hear maybe this is not a linear story. This is, I feel like we're going to get time jumps. We'll get to that later. I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as everybody's thinking. Or they could pull a Lost on us where they have present time stuff and then they go back into his past and they're weaving in 2 stories at the same time, which would be kind of rad if they did that. But where is Boba Fett? Who is this dude? Right, the dude that had no name. And Empire Strikes Back, no name whatsoever, but a cool costume and a jetpack. Rising Phoenix, right? Is that what it's called? I think it's Rising Phoenix. Yeah. And no one really knew about him. And I think the first naming, here we go, history fanboys. I'm sure I'm wrong here, but the first naming was in a toy? Maybe? I don't think it was official in movie until like the fans pined over it, and then they made the toy and named him. I feel like I'm right.
I
It could have
think
been.
in Return of the Jedi, I remember like while Han was blind, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
That's
They finally
yeah.
name him. And I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
To tell people, right?
I think what happened was there was that back when they were releasing the Kenner toys back in the day, there was like this little sticker on the package that said like rocket firing Boba Fett, and like people didn't know who he was. And then that toy just got pulled because people were putting their eyes out with this missile that would shoot out of his rocket. So
Makes sense.
I think maybe that just kind of started the hype because people were like, "Who's this character? We don't know anything
Right.
about him." And then we learned more, and the mystique just even since then has just carried over. So it was, when we saw him last year on Mandalorian, it was just nuts. Like it was just so cool.
Yeah. So I have an encyclopedia. Look, we have visuals now that this is both podcast and video cast. If you're not watching this on YouTube and listening to it in your car, this would be boring. But you're going to check that out. This is here we go. So it has a title, beautiful. I would say this is not quite yellow, not quite orange. So it says Boba Fett. Is it Bubba Fett or Boba Fett?
Is it Bubba Tea or Boba Tea? Like I don't.
I go Boba.
Yeah.
Is it Boba?
I go Boba.
Okay, well then let's just stay consistent. All right, Boba Fett. So the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, according to this encyclopedia. Din Djarin doesn't exist in this world, but he is the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. He is cool and calculating. Boba Fett is a legendary bounty hunter. He is paid to track down and often kill targeted individuals. Over the years, Fett has developed a code of honor and only accepts missions which meet this harsh sense of justice. Okay, that feels right in the Book of Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. And then there's little pictures here of the what used to be called the Slave One. That's going to be erased from history.
Fire spray.
Yes, fire. Yeah, the fire spray class starship. Working for Darth Vader, Fett captures Han Solo and loads his carbon frozen body into Slave One. He has a multifunction helmet, a reinforced flight suit, a utility belt, a double E3 blaster rifle. He's affiliated with the bounty hunter, Homeworld Camino, species human. He's about 6 foot tall. Appearances, Episode 2, Episode 4, 5, 6, and Clone Wars. 4? Special features?
Yeah,
maybe with
Jabba, right?
Yeah.
Special features, right? Do we count it? I don't know. We'll see. And then it says, see also Jango Fett, Darth Vader, Han Solo, and Jabba the Hutt. 2 more things. Like father, like son, Boba Fett is an exact genetic clone of Jango Fett who brings Boba up as a son. Boba witnesses Jango's death at the Battle of Geonosis and swears revenge against the Jedi who killed him, who was Mace Windu. Anyway. Mm-hmm. In time, he inherits Jango Fett's Mandalorian battle armor and his ship, Slave One. Finally, Boba Fett's talent and skill combined with an arsenal of exotic weapons has brought in many, quote, impossible bounties. He is notorious for completely disintegrating those whom he has been hired to track down. This is your leader, Book of Boba Fett.
And it's crazy that there's that description of him, and, in Return of the Jedi, he is offed by, like, someone turning at the wrong moment, slapstick comedy style.
It is terrible.
It's the worst. Like, there was so much hype with him, and people were just like hyping him up, like he's gonna be so awesome. And people kind of thought the same thing about Phasma in the sequel trilogy, but like he just gets completely decimated from a staff from a blind guy, flies into a ship. That's it. Like it's terrible. So I mean, this is good. We're getting like a redemption for him and for the character. So I think there's hype around it, but I haven't heard a lot of people talking about the show as much, like we kind of talked about a couple minutes ago. Right.
And we get reintroduced. Well, did we feel that this was Boba Fett was coming back? There was whispers in season 1 of Mandalorian with the random leg, and then Fennec Shand disappearing. and then we don't know what happens. And I think episode 1 of season 2, bam, he's just there, right? Sans armor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get probably one of the greatest comeback stories of all time in this sequence that I still have queued up on the stream deck. So let's give it a listen.
Back to the ship! Back to the ship! Nice shot. I was aiming for the other one.
Perfect. Oh, man. What a Robert Rodriguez, right? Directed that, and it was just absolutely incredible.
And I think he was a sub for that episode too. I think somebody else was supposed to direct that episode, and Favreau has called up Robert Rodriguez and was like, "Yo, I need you to come in and do this episode." And he directed it, and that's why he's pretty much doing most of Book of Boba Fett.
Conflict in the Star Wars Lucasfilm writing room. Okay, that makes sense. Sometimes things like that happen, but he absolutely sold it and killed it, and I loved his little segment in the behind the scenes, which was, by the way, cheap that it was only one episode, but of him doing it with the little stormtrooper figures in his backyard, filming it, like literally scene for scene. That's exactly what he wanted to do, and I love every bit about that. Indeed. So I think, Damien, you're pretty good with the Mandoverse, right?
I'd like to
we've
think
got some we've got some expansions going on, and we would like to say, well, I would think that Mandalorian runs straight, south to north to south, and now we have our first deviation off of that pathway. So where do you think Book of Boba Fett's going to take our Mandoverse?
So I think it's going to stay pretty self-contained on everyone's favorite planet, Tatooine, but I almost kind of get like a Sopranos or Game of Thrones vibe from it. I could see kind of people wanting to take the throne from Boba and try and usurp him and get that from him, and maybe something like that, like some kind of throne battle for Jabba's palace and the throne. But I think it's going to stay pretty self-contained. I don't think we're going to go off of Tatooine, especially with 7 episodes too. Like, I don't know how they could do that, but I mean, they did it with Mando, but we kept going back to Tatooine on Mando. So, I mean, it could very well happen, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mike, Mandoverse, what do you think?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Sopranos, because I had it queued in my head that this is essentially going to be like Star Wars equivalent of a mob story, where it's just like crime boss versus crime boss, and everybody wants to be the top crime boss. But as Boba says in one of the trailers, he intends to rule with respect instead of fear. I think that it's going to be a lot of crime bosses take that for weakness and try to challenge him, and then Fennec goes wild as she always does.
Yes, I do hope that we get some crossover to help the Mandoverse solidify itself. I hope we got well, we're not going to get Cara Dune, but maybe we'll get Bill Burr's character. I'm losing his name
Mayfield.
right now. Thank you. Maybe we'll get maybe an Ahsoka hologram. You know, maybe some other Mando stuff happening. Like if we get, because this is supposed to help us lead us into Mando season 3, right? Or is there a between? There's no other Mandoverse between show at this time, so. I feel like they have some kind of end credit scene on the final episode. Like something's got to get us to the next thing, a la MCU, unless it's going to be a Broadway musical, which I don't think it will be.
Boba the
which
musical.
is yeah, right. Could you imagine? The modal nodes are going to come back at the. Actually, that would be quite the callback.
You gotta do Sarlacc the musical, and the hit song could be "I Can Digest All Day."
I love it. So yeah, I mean, 7 episodes. It has to start off sprinting, right? Like right into treadmill. 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. I'm just like trying to figure out the point of the show, though.
I think that I read that all of the preview, all of the the trailer footage is from the first episode. So I forget where I read that, but similar to, I think it was when we were doing our we have spoken, where I mentioned it was like after episode 4. It's like, hey, we have seen all of the footage from every trailer.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
In The Mandalorian, we have no idea what's going to happen. So I think they're trying to leave this lure of like, you could predict all you want, you can theorize all you want, true. But I feel like it's going to be something that completely blindsides you, like Han Solo making an appearance somehow. And in my mind, I haven't made up in my mind where it is the Solo character, or similar to how they did Luke with the finale of Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
I think Donald
the
Glover,
deep fakey stuff. Yeah.
I think Donald Glover might make an appearance as
that could be cool
as Lando. Like, I think they're setting it up for either something with Solo side piece, or we know that Lando has been announced. I think setting up something with either of those two.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, the Alden Donald combo sort of happens. What would you say? 9 to 10 years before Jedi,
or before the events of like Mando and Bob?
Well, I know that right now. So Mando. So like this is 5 years post Return of the Jedi, right. Which would put. I think it would put it. Doing loose math here, everybody, around 9 or 10 years. Because like A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, I think is like a 3 to 5 year span. Mm-hmm.
That's really.
I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's fast. No, it's not as fast as the sequel trilogy. I'll tell you that right now. Ridiculous. But yeah, no, that's interesting. I mean, but how many times can they pull the trick out of pull the rabbit out of the hat, though?
That's true.
Is that what we're in for? These brief cameos? It would be cool. I'm not saying that, but like, is that okay? We're just expecting the next like Chewbacca. Like, are we going to get excited for Chewbacca? Because that's an easy one. You don't need a character actor. Mm-hmm. He was just in Galaxy's Edge. looks exactly like him. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So like that wouldn't be that difficult. And there's plenty of run-ins in the comics between Boba Fett and Chewbacca. Like Chewbacca is known around the galaxy. There's even a bounty hunter Wookiee that's pretty that's like bigger than Chewbacca in terms of what his in the pecking order, as you would say. So I don't know. I'm having trouble getting excited for this. Of course, I'll get up at 5 tomorrow with the puppy and I will watch the hell out of this show. I can't wait.
100%.
But runtime. Do we have a runtime on this just yet?
I want to say they're 40-minute episodes, like 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find that. But
We
no
we
worries.
do have computers at the ready right now.
oh, that's what we're on.
No,
Let me see real quick.
no, we're actually on an old analog line from the Matrix
On a
where
Commodore
we have to
64
stay.
right now.
Going back though to Alden would be kind of cool. And I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, Sean, like I don't think they could keep doing like okay, we're gonna see Leia, okay, we're gonna see Han. Like they need to tell their own stories, but I don't know how far away they want to steer from the sequel trilogy. But wouldn't
Yeah.
like Ben Solo be around at this time too, or possibly like we could even see just a freighter drop off Rey, and like we know that it's that ship, but we don't see anything else, and it's just like a little Easter egg.
Yeah,
Do we get a-
Ben Solo definitely alive. He's probably 4 or 5 years old. Rey's not even a thought yet because she's 19, 20, 21
Okay, yeah.
in the movies. So not just yet, but that would be, I don't know how they would tie it in.
At what age did
Unless
Ben go to the temple? Do we know?
10 or 11?
So we're
Because
still off
he's,
then.
he's not quite there.
So I was
I
going
would
to say,
say
do
10
we see like
yeah.
a Ben Solo Grogu cameo?
I would be. I think it would be really cool, and I bet you there'd be blue butterflies.
Yeah, there
Just
were.
saying. You know what I
So
mean? That's just what it is.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but there were apparently like set photo leaks where there
No.
was like apparently puppets, and I think that it's a fake out. I think that they're doing that stuff to just kind of throw people off, but like I
Yeah.
couldn't see Mando or Grogu in this show. I could see maybe Ahsoka show up because
Fair.
we're getting set up for her own solo like series. So I don't
Yeah.
know what the tie-in would be exactly, but it would be kind of cool. Yeah, but I
I could
don't
see
know.
that.
I don't know if there's going to be there's got to be a surprise cameo by somebody,
Yeah.
but I just don't know what would 100% make sense.
Does Thrawn show up?
That would be awesome.
That's tough to say because, well, I can tell you the Disney Thrawn is different from Legends Thrawn because at this time in Legends Thrawn, he's like the Grand Admiral of the current Empire at large. Sort of rebuilding. So he's still around, but not in this show. According to Rebels, and spoiler alert, him and Ezra are riding a space whale in hyperspace, and no one knows where they went. That's why the Ahsoka thing is kind of interesting because you know where General Thrawn is. Well, hold on. If you know where General Thrawn is, that means you know where Ezra is, and it goes. That starts getting down to the path of wildness, especially if they start bringing in that. Dude, a Thrawn movie trilogy would be incredible, but they would have to do it right and they would have to justify the character. But yeah, see, I don't know Clone Wars enough to know all the young Boba Fett like scenes. So like I remember there was like a train heist in one of these things. He was sort of like, we need to tell a story, so let's bring in Boba Fett for a 3 or 4 character arc. And he was a leader. That was about it. But then he disappears. So I wonder if they're gonna fill in some time. Like, here's what they need to do. They need to get the young boy, Daniel Logan, Daniel something,
Yep, Daniel Logan.
and bring him in for a flashback scene
That'd be cool.
in episode 1, right? Or whatever episode it has to be, and bring him in full armor, and we get that connection between Clone Wars and Book of Boba Fett. Well, Clone Wars and Return of the Jedi, or maybe they recreate the scene. Vader could be a good cameo in this, by the way, in a flashback sequence. Since Hayden Christensen is probably filming right now in it, there's reason to believe that he could have a Darth Vader scene. But like maybe they'll recreate the scene from Boba Fett's point of view on the bridge when tasked to get Han Solo, and then it's like flash, and then it's Tatooine, and he's bringing it to Jabba, and it's from his point of view. Boom, flash, and now he launches off to the Sarlacc, to the skiff, turns around, and then everything goes dark because he knocks himself out, and and then boom, he wakes up, and that's where the Book of Boba Fett starts. Like, it's going to be some kind of sequence. It has to be some kind of sequence like that.
But do you think they're? I mean, I think they would do, but do you think Disney's going to go to that Mando season 1 well again? because that's what they did with Din. They kept flashing back in little short
that's
increments to him. So I don't know if
Did it work?
I mean, it
worked for
did,
me.
but like
The
I don't
reveal.
want to.
Yeah.
I want to see something different. I don't want to see them go to the well. Like I don't want to see them.
That's fair.
Flashing back to like Boba Fett reading
Yeah.
inside of the Sarlacc's like digestive system. Like, oh, how am I getting out of here?
I would be good with one scene of that, like how are you alive?
Right,
And
yeah.
then he explains it. You get the flashbacks and everything, and then that's it. Just because like the fans are owed that too. I mean, it's been in
Mhm.
books, so like we know how it happened, but to see it unfold like in live action, I think would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Deep cut character though. What about Yak Face returning? He survived the events of the barge.
Yeah.
That would be a cool one, just for fan service. Rarest, one of the hardest to find vintage Star Wars figures out there.
One
and then
one thing
Hasbro,
I don't want. Oh,
yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I was gonna make a joke.
One thing I don't want is somehow Boba came back. That's the one thing I don't.
Yeah.
We want logic. We want reasoning. We want science.
Somehow for Palpatine.
I don't just want Fennec like on the side of just like somehow Boba came back.
Well, I mean, I did catch the preview where he does wake himself up in a vat of Bacta. So that is a nice scientific way of healing the acidy digestive tummy of the Sarlacc. So, but how he gets out, I don't know. That's going to be. You think he uses one of those fire escape ladders that you throw out your second floor window to get out?
On every Sarlacc, there's an escape hatch
Yeah.
right below the 50th vertebrae.
He brought
Yes,
brought like a little thing of pepper with him, made the Sarlacc sneeze, and just like shot him right out, and he's good to go.
Yeah. So the point of the show for me is a mystery. You two bring up really great points of where they could take it. I want to know what you think. And again, this is a predictive pod video cast. By episode 7, at the end of this series, knowing very little, what is your hot take? From a lot of them have already been said. Like, we get a Han Solo appearance, we get a Vader appearance, we get a Ahsoka appearance. But what about Boba? Let's focus in on him. Where is he at the end of episode 7?
Dead.
Or characters in the show. Dead. Option. Fennec, dead.
Hope not.
I
hope not.
I think you're going to see a Fennec. I mean, I guess they're like the Stone Colds, like the heels that everybody loves, but I think you're going to see a Fennec heel turn on Boba.
Ooh.
She's definitely
Where
got like
she
ulterior
tries to
motive
take
in
the
her eye.
throne.
Yeah.
Maybe she tries to take over the throne.
Where like Boba's getting too powerful and like too like she thinks he's like not doing what they set out to do.
Yeah.
And she tries to put him in his place.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because in Bad Batch she does have a moral ground, because she's trying to get Omega to safety
with Wreck
versus just really, that caught me off guard once again. So that's a curious little cat there. If Fennec does, all right. My hot take is, due to the current naming conventions of the starship, Slave One will not make it out of season 1 of the Book of Boba Fett.
Oof.
They will just take it out, to the chagrin and tears of every. If the tears were shed for the Razor Crest, which I would say probably is in the top 5 ships in the Star Wars galaxy, easy, in terms of likability, and you backed it on Hasbro, so you have no room to talk. You can't even actually commit yourself to a counter argument on this, Damien. No. So you're out.
Oh yeah.
But Slave One, I would say, is up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're gonna take it out.
I mean, there will
They're
be one
doing
way
it.
to do it because people aren't taking the name change lightly. Like, people aren't happy about it. So if you're gonna
No.
just say, all right, if you guys aren't happy with it, we'll just wipe it clean, and he gets a new ship, maybe. I mean, that would be pretty brutal. Because the
Brutal.
Falcon's been through some stuff. The Falcon constantly has bits and pieces falling off of it. Looks like it's ready to go, but it somehow always makes it out alive. So, I mean, if they did that with the Slave One, I think a lot of fans would definitely be pretty pissed. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like they know their audience, at least with the Star Wars TV shows. So I would hope that they wouldn't do that. But then again, like you said, they did it with the Razor Crest. So it could happen.
So mad. I'm still so mad about it. I can't believe
I
it.
am still going to buy that microfighter on January 1st.
Oh, it's day one. Oh, day one. I'll be up New Year's Eve. Happy New Year on my computer. TikTok, I had the card. Ahsoka Tano, Brickhead, give it to me. You know,
We'll have to hop on the
God,
live for the Sonic too, right? That's a January 1st.
Oh my gosh, Sonic! I'm not getting it. I refuse. I'm not going to get it. It's not. I'm not going to go down that route. That's for other people. But that's great.
Yeah.
So all right. So, thus, we're going to keep this nice and short this time. Thus ends our first sort of little prequel of the Bob show, the Book of Boba Fett show, and I guess that's what it's going to be.
Bob.
Yep, Bob. We're gonna have to record. We're gonna have to record that. That way, I'll echo it and do that stuff. So, Book of Boba Fett, hype level for me, mild. Hype level for Damien.
About the same, yeah. I'm like a 5 out of 10 right now. I like Boba Fett, but I just don't know what to expect from the show, and I hope that they did that on purpose to surprise us. But right now, I'm like 5.
Hype level for Mike.
I'm going into this with Hawkeye hype level, where I didn't really expect anything from it. I just thought it was going to be fun, and ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, so we're tempering our expectations right now. I've got high expectations for Mando season 3.
Oh yeah.
You know, and we have heard nothing about it. Nothing. You know, I have medium expectations for Kenobi, but again, when you start putting storylines backwards instead of forwards, that annoys me. So this at least is marrying both of those concepts where we're in the Mandoverse, but we're probably going to be covering things in the past also, you know, to address that. So mild for me, mild for you, mild salsa for everybody. Scoops are on their way from GoPuff. That's it. So we did a little recap of Disney Boba. We talked about the non-Disney Boba and how he's the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. Talked a little bit about the Mandoverse, the 7-episode arc that this could be. Maybe continuous, maybe not. Talked about the point of the show. We gave some hot takes. And coming on the other side in the next episode, you're going to hear our first episode predictions and then getting right into the first episode breakdown. Coming to you as soon as we can do it because we have kids and it's very difficult to schedule it around, but we'll make it happen for you. And again, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, follow ASW POV. That's a little bit of a name change. I wanted to make it point of view because we're doing different mediums now and it's not just audio. So instead of calling it a podcast, I just wanted to call it a point of view because it all depends on where it's coming from. It could be a picture on Instagram. It could be a TikTok video that doesn't go viral. Or it could be something on the YouTubes or just the traditional Anchor. So this will be our debut on the YouTubes. Mr. Mike, thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Damien, thank you, sir.
As always.
We'll see how it goes. Listen, the quality is the quality. We just got to deal with it. Otherwise, we hope you can come back for more. So happy Book of Boba Fett Day. It is, by the way, we're recording on 12/28. The day before it drops in just a few hours, right? Was it 3:00 in the morning it'll drop?
Yep.
So that's okay. I just want to let you know that on my screen, you both looked at each other, but you're not in the same room. I'm disturbed. So we got to end this immediately. And I hope it actually shows up that way within the editing program.
It would have been better if we just like looked at each other and then gave one of these little nods, just like.
Oh my gosh. And I can't wait to pull some lines from this show. It's one of my favorite things to do. I don't do a lot of research like Mike and Damien does on the lore, but I try to make it as entertaining as possible. And Han Solo agrees with me.
It's true. The Force, the Jedi. All of it. It's all true.
That's right. And maybe we will get that Han Solo appearance. But that thus ends our Book of Boba Fett Bob prequel. We'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe.